All right, hello. My name is Aiden Grossman. I'm currently an undergraduate student at UC Davis, and today I'm going to be talking about migrating portions of LLVM CI to GitHub Actions and some of the lessons that we've learned doing that. So first off, a quick note on the reliability of CI. So reliability of CI is probably one of the more important things. Like having fast, reliable CI is really good at catching issues. And a lack of reliability, or even just a perception of a lack of reliability due to previous reliability issues, can really reduce the trust in the CI system, which leads to people ignoring results, which is not what we want, because we want people to be able to trust the CI and pay attention to it so that when things break, they're able to catch it quickly. So what do we have currently at least implemented within GitHub Actions? So we have the code formatting checks that Tobias implemented. Tom did full tests for the release branches. We have a couple more bespoke pipelines for like targets and sub-projects like the libclang Python bindings and the Spur5 backend that have been implemented recently. And then we have tests for building the documentation to make sure that all the Sphinx warnings work out, since building the documentation locally is kind of annoying and it ends up killing build bots if you push and something isn't correct. So a couple of the things that we've learned, or at least some of my big takeaways from doing this. So the testing story for GitHub Actions is not particularly good. Even just testing it manually is pretty cumbersome. Getting the environment set up, or if you want to test a specific condition with like this branch relative to main, it's kind of a pain. Full integration tests are like there's just no real way to do that with GitHub Actions. You can sort of do Python mocking and detect specific things, but it's not really great. So yeah, we haven't implemented any of those techniques yet. And then reliability is even more difficult. So lots of problems come up at scale that don't come up during initial testing, and it's difficult to even test those regressions anyways. And then a lot of the issues are like 1 in 100, so it's hard for even like a CI maintainer to find. Yeah, and like with the monorepo running like 1,500 workflows a day, it's not possible to go through every single one of them and see that, yes, even if you're just going through failures, to see that things are working properly. And then security is, especially with the recent XE backdoor, is something that a lot of people are thinking about. So it's pretty important, especially given LLVM's position in the software ecosystem. It's pretty important with CI, where you have things like tokens floating around that give you, in some cases, like direct access to the project, or at least access to like specific things on GitHub that you don't want falling into the wrong hands. We try our best, but we aren't perfect. No one is working on the LLVM CI like full-time as a DevOps or security person. It's just mostly people interested in compilers doing it in their spare time. So we try to follow the best practices, but there's probably some lapses somewhere. It's not a super big issue on the GitHub hosted runners, but it can become a larger issue on self-hosted runners, because fundamentally you have to execute untrusted code on like self-hosted machines. And yeah, you have to sandbox it appropriately and take specific measures to make sure that's reasonably secure. So one future direction that we're looking at is migrating the precommit to GitHub Actions, so the actual running of the tests rather than a couple like code formatting and whatnot, just to get better integration with the review tooling. So I put up a RFC for this a while back. There were a couple issues that were pointed out about it, and it was engineered in a way to match certain constraints that were somewhat artificial, and some things need to be adjusted. We have some progress, but there's not much there, and hopefully in the next year or so, something can end up materializing. So final takeaways, if you get one thing from this talk, if you see an issue with the CI, something isn't working as it's expected, please open an issue about it so that we can take a look. We can't fix anything if we don't know what's broken, and reliability slowly seems to be improving over time as we see more and more issues. There's a couple people right here. Lots of people have ended up contributing MISC bug fixes. Here's Tom, Tobias, and David are some of the main ones. And yep, that should be it. Thank you.